What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Rafale X. Alright guys, I know I'm a little bit late with this review, seeing as how this device has been on the market for a few months already, but I wanted to showcase it because it is very innovative and very unique. I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Daryl Shergan, aka Quest for Vape. You can find a link to his channel in the description below if you want to check him out. He's the one that hooked me up with the guys from Uwell. He was working at the Uwell booth at VPX Las Vegas where I picked this thing up. So before I continue, I do have to state my intent by saying that I did receive this product for free for the purpose of doing this video review. However, it has no monetary value to me, which means my opinions on it will remain honest and unbiased. With that being said, I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to the people over at Uwell, Leo, and Henry. Awesome guys. They hooked me up with a couple of these things for the purpose of doing this video review. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate everything that you've done for me there. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. Let's dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright vapors, are you ready? Here we go. We got two Rafale X's right here. I was going to do a giveaway for the black one here, but the FDA says I can't. So unfortunately, we're just going to be unboxing this thing today, I suppose. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Let's go grab our scissors. Let's find out what's inside this box here. Alright, so first things first, we have our little authenticator thing right on the top here. It's going to let us know whether or not we got an original Rafale X or a clone. We have a little sticker. I think that's a sticker. Feels kind of like a sticker. Pretty sure it's a sticker. There you go. It's got that cool looking Viking kind of Nordic guy on there, which I like that branding a lot. I think that's pretty cool. So taking apart the packaging, you've got the traditional bubble packaging now. That's what they've been doing lately. You got a silica gel. Don't eat it. Toss it aside. And there you go, your Rafale X dripper. And that's the one we're going to be taking a look at. Also in here, let's just take out the bubble packaging. We have a set of screws, some O-rings, and a screwdriver. Now, you're wondering what the screwdriver is for. Well, just wait till you see the manual here. That will explain everything. And this manual is kind of tough to get out. There we go. All right, I got it. So we have our Rafale X manual. This is extremely well done. As you can see right on the front cover here, ABS or ASB system, anti-spit back, and it just kind of shows how exactly that whole thing works, which is kind of cool. Personally, I don't like it, but whatever. That's my opinion. Warnings and all that good stuff, of course. There you go. Make sure you read through those. I really like what's on the inside here. Now, this explains everything. I mean, you got everything from changing the pin out to how you should coil it to different descriptions of what you're going to get out of different builds and things like that. I really think they did an excellent job with this manual, and you don't see that nearly enough with product support nowadays. You just get the RDA itself, and that's about it. But it gives you three different options. As it says here, serial, dual coil, parallel coil, and a quad coil. Every single one of these is going to have a slightly different heat index, flavor index, and cloud index. And obviously there's ones that are better for one thing and one that are better than other things and all that good stuff. But I really like that they included that. It shows exactly how to do it. It shows the materials and everything required. And there you go as well. You have your customer service, you have your warnings, and you have your warranty information, you have your specs and all that good stuff. They did an excellent job with this packaging. So tossing that aside for right now, let's go ahead and bring this thing in here. We'll go over some of the specs on this device. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go top to bottom with this thing. So first of all, we have the drip tip section. This is their anti-spitback protection kind of system that they have. You can see it's divided right down the middle there. This is a little bit extra wide drip tip, not a standard format at all. You can't even really see light through the bottom of it. That's because it has the little turbo fins in there. I'm not really sure if you could see that, but it has two O-rings. That's why it sticks in there really nice. And then you have the bottom there. You might be able to see part of that little turbo airflow section, which is meant to spiral the vapor as it goes up that little chimney there. Personally, not a huge fan, but you know what? That's just my opinion. You guys might like that fact. So yeah, next up we have the airflow options on the outside. You can see here, this is the triple airflow section for clouds. Then you have a single airflow section for flavor. Either one of these you choose, the opposite will be blocked off by the outermost post. You'll see that in just a second. And it's also mirrored on the opposite side, so you have just standard dual coil airflow. They did not include a single coil airflow option, which I find a little bit odd, but you know what? That's just me. We'll take a look at the base here. This is a 24mm device. You can see the nice classy looking engravings, the UL logo and all that good stuff. And the pin on this thing is made out of brass, and the insulators are all PEEK insulators, which are some of the finest in this industry. So there you go. Let's go ahead and take off the top cap. So here we go. Here's the deck for the Rafale X. As you can see, it uses Phillips head screws. The outermost posts here are taller than the shorter neutral post, which I find is a little bit unique. Kind of takes a little bit to get used to building on that. Honestly, it's very much reminds me of the recoil RDA that Grimm Green Homeboy OC just came out with. As I just stated, as far as the airflow, you can see how it blocks it off using these little fins on the outermost side here, and it's matched on this side here. One thing I don't really like about this device is the fact that this edge right here sticks up really far, and sometimes you're going to catch your cap on it. But they had to do that because the post had to be isolated for the positive post. I can see why they did it. I just don't think I'm a big fan of that fact. It uses 2 O-rings for the top cap to stay on, which it stays on really nice, but it just doesn't feel quite right. I feel like the O-rings are almost a little bit too chunky in a way. Yeah, they make it stick on really well, but it almost makes the cap wobble a little bit. So real quick, I'm going to show you guys how to take out that center post. So first of all, you're going to need a regular flathead mini screwdriver. They don't supply you with one, but I'm sure it's not going to be hard to find around the house. So first things first, you want to just take out that 510 screw. Just give it a couple of turns like so, and it's going to pop right out for you. Next thing is that positive block comes right out like that, and you're just going to grab onto the center post and stick the little screwdriver that they give you inside the bottom part there. Just give it another couple of turns, and there you go. The post comes off. Now you're left with your standard positive post and your negative post built into the deck. So you just want to replace that, and then don't lose your insulator. Then you're just going to want to replace that 510 screw, and I don't believe the screw that holds on to the positive block, or the neutral block I should say, or that insulator is supposed to come out because they don't want any juice getting all the way down inside the 510 connection, so I definitely see why they did that. But then it just opens that deck wide open, so you have plenty of build space. You can really get creative with your coils in there. So here's the build that I have on my Rafale X. It is a 26 and 36 gauge stainless steel Mad Rabbit wire fused Clapton. It is a 3mm coil with 5 wraps, and it may seem like a bit of a mouthful, but honestly it's one of the more basic builds I've ever done. And what normally is a 0.15 ohm coil brings it up to a 0.3 using that neutral center post on there, which is just kind of cool. It just brings out different flavor elements, and I can use it at a very high wattage. Just a couple of things I wanted to show you on my personal Rafale X before we go back to the main screen is it doesn't sit all the way flush. The cap does not sit all the way flush on there. I do get a little tiny bit of an overhang or just a gap or something like that. I'm not sure if that's a machining problem or what, but I just want to let you guys know for future reference. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. Also, just taking a look around the machining and the quality of this thing overall, I can just definitely tell that it's a bit cheap feeling to me. I got quite a few scratches on there from wear and tear over the past few months, but honestly, it's held up pretty nice so far for me personally. So that about does it for the close-up section. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of this video. Now we're going to go over some of my personal thoughts on it, some pros, some cons, and whether or not I believe it's worth purchasing. Let's start off today with the pros, and my first pro is going to be the innovative, unique design. I haven't seen too many other RDAs out there with a neutral center post, and the Rafale X definitely kind of kills it in that category as far as I'm concerned. I really like that post in the middle because I can get creative with my builds. And what normally would be, a 0.15 ohm build becomes a 0.3 by using using that neutral center post, and it allows you to vape at, you know, unconventional wattages and voltages. Currently, I'm vaping a 0.29 ohm coil at 115 watts and 5.7 volts. Now, I personally can't remember the last time I had vaped over 4.2 volts on anything other than a series box mod, and that just allows you to just kind of creatively kind of customize your vape. So if you want to throw in a parallel wire or get creative with it, you know, if you want to do something wild, then go for it. With this device here, you can really throw anything at it and it's going to be able to handle it, because that neutral center post, instead of dividing your resistance, you're going to add it, which is just something really unique. I love that fact about this Rafale X here. My second pro is going to be that it is a transformer. Like I just mentioned, the neutral center post, you can remove that completely. Then you have your standard 2-post deck, which you can build, you know, anything that you normally build, or if you want to just get creative, you can throw that center post back in, and there you go. You can vape it at very high wattage, very high voltage. You're going to get unique kind of flavor profiles out of your juice that you probably aren't used to when you're vaping it at standard wattages and voltages and all that good stuff. My third pro is that it's great for a series box mod. Now, me personally, I'm not thinking so much the Noisy Cricket as I am something like a somewhat regulated series box mod where you have a MOSFET and switch and everything like that, and it's just kind of wired in series. You can vape it again at very high voltages, and you're not going to burn out your cotton or anything like that. I just think it's going to be great for those people out there that are looking for something unique to build on without building, you know, the 20 wrap coils or something like that for their series boxes. My next pro is that it can handle the huge builds. Now, if you take out that neutral center post there, you can probably span a good, you know, 12 to 14, 15 wraps in there, I'm imagining, because there's so much room in this deck here. Now, again, you can get kind of creative with your builds. If you want something that's going to be not too low resistance, you can do, you know, massive builds in here. There's tons of room in this deck to build, and it's just great for that as well. Or if you want to, you know, throw that neutral center post in, then you can still do, you know, 6, 7, 8 wrap coils, no problem. And I've had no problem building this thing, no problem wicking it or anything like that. It's just got plenty of room in there for your bigger builds. And my final pro is going to be the price. Of course, the price is definitely going to be a factor with this one, and it's only $29.99, so really it's 30 bucks. Definitely go out and pick yourself up one of these devices here. You're not going to be sad about it. All right, continuing on with some cons now. My first con is that the airflow is a bit wonky. Not really sure what they were thinking exactly with this triangular airflow design. Personally, I just think that the Cyclops Eye design is probably one of the better designs as far as airflow is concerned, and when you throw these random angles in there, it tends to be a little bit turbulent. I don't get so much turbulence out of this one as I do just, it gives me that weird kind of feeling. It doesn't feel like it's being restricted at all, but I feel like it's not hitting my coils as evenly as I would normally like. And that just kind of throws the whole thing off for me. I do like the fact that they have it set up so that you can do either the triple airflow or the single airflow, but I really don't feel like that makes all the difference in the world. I feel like they should have just did normal round holes or a Cyclops Eye or something like that. I think that would solve a lot of my issues with the airflow. My second con is that the center post wobbles. Of course, that's going to be an issue with this device here because, well, for one thing, it's made in China, which means it's a little bit cheaply made, but other than that, it's going to be tough to get something that's removable and stable at the same time. I mean, personally, I like my devices to be rock solid. I like my posts milled right into the deck, and I like it just to be one solid unit, and unfortunately, I can't say that about the Rafale X. My next con is the lack of drip tip options. Luckily, there was a booth right across from the Uwell booth selling these drip tips here. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. If I do get that information, I'll put a link in the description below for you guys. But I really did not like the standard drip tip that came with it. Just did not float my boat whatsoever. They like to throw in all these anti-splashback things and the swirly, twirly, tornado-y airflow and all that in the drip tip, and no. Just give me a standard style, chuff kind of style tip to it, and I'm happy. And also the chimney section here on the top cap it doesn't do it for me. Let's just put it that way. My next con is the O-rings are a little bit questionable. They tend to like not quite seal the way I like to have them seal. It feels a bit wiggly and wobbly on there and just doesn't make me too happy. I like my O-rings to be nice and solid, and so the cap does not wobble whatsoever, and I just don't get that out of this device here. And also the fact that the cap doesn't quite fit down all the way onto the RDA. I'm not sure if that's like a machining problem or if it was designed that way or what, but as you saw in the close-ups, that cap definitely does not fit on there all the way. And I've tried everything and nothing seems to work for me. And next up is the finish isn't the cleanest, as you saw in the close-ups. It just has a lot of scratches and wear marks. And I haven't used this all that much, and I really don't think that something like this should get all that scratched up, especially if their machining is top-notch, which obviously I don't believe it is, because that finish is already starting to get really, really scratched. So there's that fact. It's a little bit subjective, and it's a little bit, personal, because obviously if I'm a little bit rougher on my device, then you're gonna have that issue. But you guys out there, if you baby it, I'm sure it'll be fine for you. And my final con is that it is ugly. This thing is not the prettiest RDA out there. It screams China, and it just not really my thing. Something that I like the Kennedy, the simplicity of the Kennedy. I just love that. I love the Goon RDA, just the logos and everything like that just make it look really nice. This device, not the prettiest. Definitely not the prettiest. And I don't know. I mean, for a $30 device, who am I to complain? But you know what? They definitely could have kind of taken some pointers, I guess, from American-made drippers or something like that, and maybe kind of come out with something a little bit more stylish. But hey, that's a very subjective con. Just take from that what you will. So my final topic for this evening is whether or not I would purchase this device if I did not receive it for free for the purpose of this video, and my answer would be yes. Definitely, I would pick one of these things up, especially at the price point of $29.99. You really can't go wrong. It makes a great addition to the kit if you want to come out with some creative kind of coil, if you want to just experiment. If I lost this thing, if I broke this thing, I would definitely go out and pick one up for myself, because I just feel like it's a great addition to anyone's vapor kit out there. Just occasionally throw it on, build it up, and just see how it vapes, basically. That's the best thing about this. I really like the fact that Uwell thought outside of the box when they did this Rafale X dripper, seeing as how there's just so many of the same 3-post or 4-post RDAs out there. Uwell definitely took it to the next level as far as that's concerned, and for a company that's best known for their tank devices, I think they really knocked it out of the park with their first dripper. So with that being said, make sure you check out the links in the description if you want to pick one of these up for yourself. So that about does it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Of course, leave me comments in the box below of what you think of this device. Would you go ahead and purchase one for yourself? Just anything you want to talk about down there in the comment section. I'd love to discuss it there with you guys. Of course, check out the advocacy links in the description below. The fight is not over. The FDA has not won yet. We are still strong. We are still united, and we got to get out there and fight for our right to vape. So make sure you check those links out. Of course, check me out on all my different social medias. I have Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to give me a couple of bucks at Patreon, that'd be awesome as well. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, vape on! Yeah.